Uh, hey guys, we're the Fabulous Flamingos, and our group made Tarnished.ai. So what is Tarnished.ai? Our group's goal with this project was to fine-tune a large language model to be able to complete user sentences as if it were a piece of an Elden Ring dialogue ripped straight out of the game. Well, let's talk a little bit about the dataset. We found our dataset on Kaggle, and although we found an edited version of the script, there was still a lot of junk left over from the writing process. Unimportant text like emotion context and triple dots appeared frequently in the training set, but the data was pretty clean already, so not much pre-processing was needed.
For our model that we chose to use the GPT-NEO model. The GPT-NEO model is known for being an open source large language model that's based off of GPT-2, which isn't as advanced as GPT-3 or 4, but it makes up for this in how it can take in any type of text data and it can generate a response primarily based off of that data. A drawback, however, is that since it's primarily generating responses based off of that data, then if you give it a prompt that deviates from the structure of the data that it's been given, then it's going to have a really hard time generating a response. Okay. Sorry, our project only took 10 minutes to train. It initially took about 5 minutes due to the small data set. So we had to increase the original number of epochs from 5 to 10 in order for our model to fit more closely to our data set, and training on 10 epochs took our model 10 minutes.
All right, now it's time for a demo. Before we dive straight into our AI, I want to talk a bit about our website. As you can see, we're greeted by Tarnished.ai, which is what we decided to call our model. We also included a navigation bar, which I thought was pretty cool. Whenever you click on one, such as AI Camp, you should be redirected to the AI Camp webpage where you can read more about what AI Camp does. If you head back on over and click Tarnished.ai, it brings you down to a little section that provides some insight into our AI and what it does. Then if you click on our project, it'll bring you down to a piece that contains some information such as our challenges, the model, and the dataset used, which we'll go over in a bit. Now you're probably looking around saying, there's a about us, but I don't see an about us. So if you go ahead and click on that, you'll be redirected to a new page with our team. And here we have Darshni, Rayan, Kaydyn, Sam, Ganapathy, me, and our super instructor, Elian. We also incorporated our socials and contact information in case anyone wants to contact us individually. So you can go ahead, click on a button, grab whatever they need from there. Now, if we head back on over to our website and we go all the way to the bottom, you can see that we incorporated a few social medias. Here we have a Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok, all directly linked to the AI camp. So you can go ahead and give those a follow. Now let's go ahead and actually test out our AI. So as you can see, we have our text box here. Here you're going to want to enter your prompt, something Elden Ring related kind. So let's go ahead and try out the scrolls are calling, because we've had pretty good luck with this. So go ahead and click generate, give it a sec to load its weights. And now we can see it generated a text. The scrolls are calling me a thief. I stole a medallion that allowed me to travel the stars of the dun pings of death. The medallion is known as the Rune of Death, and yet I'm afraid I don't know what the purpose is. Renala, on the other hand, does know. She's the one behind the looting. So I thought of. As you can see, our model is not 100% efficient or accurate, but it does get most of the job done. And you can see it did create a pretty creative text. Now we can try another example, such as it's been a long weekend, because I know it's all been pretty long weekend. So go ahead, click generate, and look at that. It's been a long weekend. It seems my days have come to an end. I've decided to leave the Erdtree Manor on a business trip. As I mentioned, I'm off at a loss. What can I do for Tarnished? Was that supposed to be help? Anyways, have you heard of torrenting? Torrenting is a name that comes to mind as you contemplate the tale of Queen America, Torn. So yeah, as you can see, the model does work and it is trained properly, and it does you can see that it works based on the vocabulary that it gives in the output. Now, I'd like to ask the audience if they have any prompts they'd like us to try. It doesn't have to be a full prompt, just something they want to type in and then have the AI finish. Okay, so I can see I remember when. Let's go ahead and give that a shot. Cool. I would just give it a minute for the model to load its weights. And there we go. As you can see, it generated a completely new text based off the data it has. So I remember when I was a child, the frenzy flame of a burning church burned in my infancy and keeps going on. But yeah, that's all I have for our demo. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Now let's talk about some of the challenges we faced. The first challenge was that our data set was a little small. So sometimes our model would struggle to capture the writing style. Sometimes the model would be unable to understand the context and give out an invalid output as the data set would be too small. Another challenge was to pre-process our data to ensure good model outputs. This meant we had to clean our data up, and we did so by splitting the text to minimize the number of pad tokens. And of course, learning Python and some of the skills / code required to code were needed. So we had to adjust to this learning curve in Python by learning a few new libraries. Additionally, understanding how to connect Flask with our website was a bit of a struggle. We had to figure out how to host the website and integrate / communicate our website with the Hugging Face API.
So how did we solve our problems? The small data set had a simple fix. We just increased the training epochs from 5 epochs to 10. The pre-processing was a little more complicated. To do it, we had to split the text into more specific contexts and remove erroneous text like emotion indicators and sequence length. And the sequence length was not uniform, so we had to make it all the same. To get over the learning curve, it was really just practice, like solving problems and reading documentary. We fine-tuned our model so it could adapt to Elden Ring text. Based off the data the model was provided, it could take a prompt and complete the sentence in the style of Elden Ring. We utilized the AI by presenting it with data it hadn't seen and wanted to know if it would produce Elden Ring style text, which it did. And we did this all just for fun, but ended up creating something extravagant and creative in the creative process. For any expansion, we would need to find more writing similar to the From Software dialogue. Furthermore, upgrading to GPT-3 will allow us to leverage a more sophisticated model that would yield better outputs. Lastly, we could employ hyperparameter tuning to find the best configuration of parameters, thus improving the outputs from our model. Thank you for watching. Any questions?